Stop for lunch. I'm in my standard working attire, look. And it is 22 degrees here today. What difference a week makes, eh? Lovely, absolutely lovely. So I've been busying myself with the pool. Got that sort of nearly ready. And I've also been doing this. Spot of fencing. So you may have seen in my previous live that we've now gained a large portion of land at the end of our property. So moving the fence, and effectively where that grey fence is now, that's our boundary. So that section there is about 8.5 metres deep, and it's the width of the garden, so about 20 odd metres in total. So yeah, that was it's taken 7 months. It was a project that I was sort of hoping to start talking to you guys about and get some ideas of what we were going to do with the land, you know, veg patches, summer houses, greenhouses, you know, barbecue area, blah blah blah, all sorts of plans, ponds. Even had an idea of putting a grotto at the end. Oh, I forgot a low battery. I shouldn't have a low battery. Anyhow, even had the idea of putting a grotto at the end of the pool and then a slide going into the pool. All sorts of ideas. And then the wife convinced me that I'm an idiot and we need to sell the house. So that all went out the window. Anyhow, that's what I've been doing today. So I've stopped for lunch and I thought I'd come on a live stream, just have a chat about some stuff that's just being thrown around in the news, especially in mainstream media in the UK. So let me Phil Holland, I know a steel Russia. Okay, cool. Yeah, God almighty. So, as I've titled this video in the description, the US and Ukraine have agreed a ceasefire. It's interesting, I didn't know that the US and Ukraine were actually at war anyway. Just saying. But that's me being pedantic. For all of you that read the mainstream media and sort of try and get your news from there, let me just tell you, that's pointless. It's a complete waste of air. It isn't a reality, and all is not as it seems. This is purely about trying to gain some leverage and force a position on Russia, not necessarily for the ceasefire, but force a narrative to be able to turn around and say, oh, see, Russia is the evil one, Russia's the one that won't agree. So let's go back in time, shall we, a bit. Russia has given ceasefires, Russia has given withdrawals, and both times they have been deceived. Simple as that. So they have made it categorically clear, no ceasefire, because all that's going to happen is that the next door neighbours will use that 30-day ceasefire to do what? What do you think? I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? They're just going to rearm their positions. They're going to dig in more defences and consolidate. It's not going to be a ceasefire. They may not lob a missile or a drone, but it's completely pointless. All it is to buy time. It comes after Ukraine has just launched over 330 drones at Moscow. So, want a ceasefire, want a ceasefire, whoosh. Still want a ceasefire. All right. But the important thing, I think, to remember is that Russia has made it completely clear that they will not accept those terms. Now, the US and Ukraine are running around agreeing Everything. Oh, we've agreed this, we've agreed that. Brilliant. Great. Agree all you want. What difference is that going to make to Russia? It's a bit like we've been telling you for months and you ain't listening. So that's kind of exactly what's going on. But like I say, this isn't to gain a ceasefire. This is all to gain leverage over Russia in some sort of way, shape or form, so that the next door neighbour can blame Russia and say, we want peace, but Russia doesn't. Russia's the evil twin, blah, blah, blah. Now, Zelensky has already said regarding this ceasefire that he will carry on mobilisation and he will carry on with arms shipments. So it's just paper, isn't it? It's just absolute rubbish, it's just nonsense. So don't believe a word of it. It isn't what it seems. It's just all crap. It isn't some massive breakthrough. Nothing has changed as far as Russia is concerned, and until obviously the goals are met, nothing will change. This is all, like I say, it's all hot air and bluster. It doesn't achieve anything meaningful. It's not a path to peace. Just thought I'd let you know that, because it seems to be everywhere. Ceasefire, ceasefire, oh, peace, peace, peace. Yeah. My 94 Skylark Buick has 124,000 miles. Is that still good? Yeah, probably. Patrick, hi. Said hi. You did indeed. Hi, are you in Australia? No, Ruben. I'm in southern Russia. Shamil, Privyat, Qatar, Vos. So I am. Ooh. Things is in the air. You can probably hear. I am in just outside of Napa, the coast of the Black Sea, in the region of Krasnodarsky Krai, about 60 miles from Crimea. Hi again, Patrick. Phil Holland, Russia hasn't. They have made demands. Okay. Shamil, can't read Russian, so I struggled with your first one. That I have no idea what it says, so I'm sorry. KFC. Selim, hi. Yeah. So there we go. Just thought I'd comment on that. Absolute load of nonsense, because a lot of people seem to be getting excited and think it's some kind of meaningful breakthrough. And the simple fact is it means absolutely nothing as far as Russia's concerned. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. It's just blah, blah. What else is happening? Just come back from Sochi. Got a few videos to upload from Sochi. Went and saw a friend of mine called Ven Space Core, because there's a Ven Core on YouTube already. It's nothing to do with him. So check out his channel. We went skiing, snowboarding, snowmobiling up in the mountains just outside of Sochi. Had a great time. Thoroughly enjoyed Ven's company and his hospitality. Ate way too much. Ate at some very nice restaurants. And I'll be uploading some more videos from that fairly soon. But at the moment, I'm supposed to be getting on with the fence. We've got a power cut. So it kind of has thrown a spanner in the works, because the welder won't work without electricity. So I think they're adding to the grid, because there is a lot of houses being built in our village. So it's not expanding its boundaries, but it's expanding within the village. So I think they're updating the grid, and consequently they've got to shut parts of it down when they do that. And unfortunately, that is today, and it's us. So I'm not sure when I'm going to get power back, which means I'm not sure if I can actually finish my fence today. Oh well, it's what it is. Why you call yourself Russian? Have a look at my channel. There's an explanation to the name. I don't call myself Russian per se. The channel name is the Plastic Russian. And like I say, there's an explanation for that on my channel. Lots of highs. Sailor, we need to stop this war. Yeah, I agree. And the easiest way to do that is for the US to go, we're done. Europe, you keep banging on about you want to take it over, fill your boots. As far as the US is concerned, we've done all that we can, we're out. And that's it, it's over. Because without the US, it's gone, it's done. So, yeah, I agree, the war needs to stop. But it isn't going to stop at the detriment of Russia. You know, Russia isn't going to sacrifice thousands of Russian soldiers and then just capitulate and go, oh yeah, we'll agree to everything that you've wanted. It's not going to happen. So it continues, and once the goals that have been outlined are met, then it'll end. So all this talk of ceasefires and that, I mean, they've been burnt with that already. They've been down that path. So why would they be stupid and just accept that again? It's not going to happen. E.T. too much reminds me of Carl Pilkington. Yeah, great. Cheers, Andrew. Rayka, it's getting warm down there. Oh, yes, it's 22 degrees today. Beautiful. Absolutely lovely. Blue skies, sunshine. Yeah, summer. The thing here in Russia is, for me as a Brit, bearing in mind this is a Brit talking, not a Russian, because the locals are still wandering around in coats and jeans and hats, and I'm walking around in shorts and a t-shirt. So I'm talking as a Brit. And this, for me, is why I love this climate. Because it flips from winter to summer almost overnight. You know, I mean, 2 weeks ago, the garden was covered in snow. Less than that, in fact. And we were having like -8 temperature and all sorts. Pool was down to about 3.6 degrees. Now the pool's at 13 degrees. It's got no heating, it's just the ground heating up the pool and the sun. And here we are, 21, 22 degrees today. And like I say, for me, this country to me feels like I have about 8 months of summer. That's what it feels like. Spring for me doesn't seem to exist other than look. Apart from that, it just goes straight into 22, 23, 25 degrees. And if you're a Brit, that's summer to us. So yeah, I love it. It's absolutely, it's a lovely time of year, and especially for us at the moment where we're sorting out this garden. The garden's massive, absolutely huge. Now we've bought this extra piece of land. It's like, wow. It would have been good to have done something with it. I would really have looked forward to some projects in there, but we're going to sell the house, so the next owner will do it. We'll move on to something else. Richard, hi. I will be there just after Easter. See you then. Sounds like a plan. James, what's your thoughts on Romania? Refusing the election because Russian influence. Well, that's already been proved as completely false. That was the narrative they spun. Incidentally, that isn't a legitimate reason. Even if that was proved to be true, that it was TikTok backed by Russia, Russian influence, blah, 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 and Georgescu got through the first round because of Russian influence. That isn't a legal position to cancel elections. What you do is you go into the second round and you lay out the information. You say, here's all the proof. He only got here because of Russian influence. He hasn't got any support. So it's not legal. They couldn't cancel the election, but they did because, you know, hey, democracy. So the Russian influence thing then got completely disproved, and, you know, it actually came about that it was It was a news agency. It was nothing to do with Russia. I think it was Romanian. Can't remember. I read so much news and I forget. But anyhow, it came about that it actually was the opposite party to Georgescu that had put all of this information out. And there we go. And then, you know, to go after the guy, come up with a complete load of Mickey Mouse charges. Standard operating procedure for the EU, isn't it? You know, soon as something's looking like it's not going to go their way, they just won't allow it. Well, it sounds like democracy, doesn't it? It sounds, you know, people bang on about the democracy. Where is it? In Germany? France? Britain? Really? And Romania. So they locked the guy up for a while, then banned him from doing any kind of public speaking or social media for 60 days, which incidentally coincides with the next round of elections. And that didn't stop him. So he still submitted his application, which they rejected. And I think he appealed that, and they rejected that as well. So, I mean, Romania really is, it's lost at the moment, which is a real shame. And unless the people of Romania actually do something about that internally, it's a lost cause. But simply, it's way too valuable for the EU to let it slide. You've got one of the largest NATO bases being built in Romania. Strategically, it's on the Black Sea. So for the globalists, for the project, it's just not, you know, they just couldn't allow it. So, you know, democracy goes out the window. What the people of the country want goes out the window. It's all about what the globalists want, and they certainly couldn't let Romania fall into the hands of somebody that was popular with the people, had the overall majority, and also wanted to end the support for Ukraine. Funny that, got to keep the grift going, haven't we? Hope that answers your question, James. Raka, are you moving to another city? No, we're staying local. We're staying local. Hello, greetings from St. Petersburg. Have a good stream, thank you. And that is Minnie Accra. Thank you, Minnie. Yeah, that's Russian, can't read that bit. Mr. Fama 91. That's an awning, isn't it? Are you happy with the state of the war? How can anybody ever be happy with war? I don't really think that's possible. Am I happy with it? It's an interesting question, but I don't think you can be happy with it other than purely from a selfish point of view. I'm living my best life because of the Russian soldiers that are in trenches fighting and dying for this country. That enables me to live my best life. That's hard to live with on a daily basis. That's hard to deal with. Yeah. Am I happy with the war? No. Do I understand why the war started? Yes. Do I think that there was no other option? Yeah, I do. Actually, I do. Based on all the research that I've done over the last 3 years. I think everything else had been exhausted. Diplomatic routes had been exhausted, so it was that had to happen. So, yeah. As for the actual conflict and the state of play, well, I'm sure if you're in the West, you're not going to like this. But Russia hasn't stopped advancing. The line keeps going forward. Kursk has now been liberated. So you probably won't hear about that, because that's usually what happens in the West. They bang on about some narrative, you know, they start a narrative about you know, how something is wonderful and defeating the Russians and blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as it falls, you don't hear about it. Avdiivka, countless other cities, towns in Ukraine where they've been, this is the one, this is the one. And the game changers, you know, how many game changers, how often do you hear about Challenger tanks or Abrams tanks? Yeah, the F-16s, God, they were a game changer, weren't they? Even Ukraine is admitting the F-16s are completely no match for Russian aviation in any way, shape or form. So, yeah, it's not something to be happy about, but it's a crazy world. James agreed, they use it as the boogeyman just like they did here in the US in 2016. Yeah. Alexander Ross, are you getting a very muddy spring and the snow melt, or does the ground dry out faster in the Napa than some places? I can only comment on ours, and I've been able to dig the hole in the ground to put the fence posts in quite easily, so it's still very moist. It holds water very well, this ground. Even in summer, the water is, you know, it's retained in the ground. It doesn't sort of, the top 6 inches dries and it cracks, but once you go down deeper, it's always moist. And that's the secret to why stuff grows here. You know, literally you can put a stick in the ground and it grows here. It's amazing. Case in point, let me just take you into the garden and you can see. Let's have a swap around. Oh, sorry. We'll catch up with some comments in a minute, but I'll just give you an example. So, this thing I built for the in, and it was a plum tree, and I've said this many times, absolutely been ripped out of the ground half a dozen times. When we built the swimming pool, the tractor ran over it. It's just been mutilated. Then I've cut it to death 2 or 3 times. The trunk is all splitting. As you can see, it's in a real sorry state, and look at it. Green shoots. I've never ever come across anything like this place for growing. It is staggering how things grow here. It really is absolutely staggering. But this is all our garden now. We're up to the fence now, so we'll be carrying across here with the fence, down that side to meet the fence. Look at that. It's quite a big garden now. It was big before, now it's bloody huge. So yeah, ground wise, you know, it's a bit crusty on the top, but you go down literally a couple of inches, and as you can see, I better plug the battery pack in so I can get a flat battery. Right, I'm going to take my pew, get out of the sun. It's bloody warm in the sun actually. Get the battery plugged in. Oh yeah, finally. Ooh. Right, let's come back. Right, I'm back. So yeah, Alexander, I hope that answers your question. I don't know about other places, but certainly this region where we are, Napa and the surrounding area, is known for how good things grow here. Cherries grow like weeds, grapes grow like weeds, walnuts, peaches, best peaches you've ever had in your life. It's a bold statement, isn't it? Best peaches I've ever had in my life. Just so sweet and so soft, you just melt in your mouth. Oh, it's just unbelievable. And we've got a couple of peach trees I think last year we got 150 peaches off of one tree, and cherries, I don't know how many. We've got apricots as well. Oh, we've got all sorts going on, but probably won't be here to enjoy it. Our beach is ready for the summer. Yeah, looks like it. The clean-up operation, some of you may or may not know, there was a very catastrophic event where two tankers collided in the Kerch Strait and dumped, I don't know how much, crude oil, but it was unrefined crude, so it was like thick glue. If you're ever around a road that's being tarmacked, it's that smell. And it just dumped into the sea for, I don't know, 100 odd kilometres. Devastating. Killed a lot of birds, a lot of dolphins, a lot of fish, and washed up on the shore and turned the beaches black. The people have been down there every day cleaning up, and the government mobilised, obviously, you know, teams, etc, etc. And at the moment we've now got divers. We've got a team, I think, of about 300 odd divers, scuba divers, that are working on the seabed. So where the crude was sunk to the bottom, they're actually getting it off of the seabed as well. So I mean, remarkable. But yeah, aside from some trenches that have been dug, the beaches look, yeah, ready to rock. So I think another couple of months, be good to go. James, how crazy is it now? They fear mongering peace candidates as right wing. It's like upside down world. Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, it doesn't fit the narrative, does it? The narrative, Russia bad. Russian redneck, UK. What's UK, mate? Game Tactics 101, indeed. Alex, war is a thing that we should do, but not that we should be proud or happy about. Yeah, unfortunately, if people don't listen, if governments and countries don't listen, and they try and impose their will, NATO, we won't go 1 inch further. 12 more countries. Then at some point, if you've been saying no, 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 and you've been saying that for 9 years, at some point you have to go, do you know what? You know, it's a bit like a dog barking, isn't it? At some point the dog's got to bite. So yeah. College friends, Governor House trip. Hello. That's a hell of a name, isn't it? Constantine, what do you think about possible WW3? Won't happen, in my view. Because why? You've got somebody like Macron, blah 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 blah, gonna do everything. Macron is the guy in the pub that's had 2 pints of Stella and he's going to fight the world. And then as soon as somebody says something to him, he goes, oh, I didn't mean that. No, I didn't mean that. That's Macron. He's the 2 Stella man. Starmer is just writing checks that the British armed forces can't cash. The US, let's face it, if all of these countries could have defeated Russia collectively, they would have done, and they haven't. So what good would World War III do? How? Why? What's it going to achieve? Because who's going to actually be party to it? Who's going to start it? The Europeans? With what? What are they going to do? They're going to send 30 tanks and 300 soldiers towards Russia. Really? And, you know, there are people that go, oh, we should have World War III and deal the death blow and all this. People need to wake up, because the trouble is, from what I have seen and from being in Russia, what I have learned is Russians are very sincere and they're very genuine. They don't play the Western game where, like, if you walk into a shop and they go, oh, have a nice day, and they don't mean it, because the minute you're out the shop, they're like, fuck off. Russians don't do that. There is no fake about Russians. So they say what they mean, and they mean what they say. And they're people of few words, but you should listen to the words that they use. And it's in their constitution. Putin has said it many times about nuclear doctrine. So regarding World War III, no, World War III isn't something that will happen. What would happen potentially is some countries may decide that they want to push Russian boundaries. Russia will bite back. If it ever went nuclear, everybody's gone. So there is, it's kind of irrelevant. It doesn't serve any purpose. It's just a lot of talk, especially from the Baltic states. What are they going to do? You know, it's just this evil Russophobia that has swept through the West, because they genuinely believed that they could break up Russia. That's what they thought they were going to do. So they all got hyped up. They all got excited 3 or 4 years ago. Oh, we're going to, oh, lovely, lovely. Look at all the resources. Look at all the money we're going to make. Oh, lovely, lovely. So they all went down that path, and it's failed. And rather than just step back and go, yeah, we got this wrong, they just keep trying to push. And as I said before, if Russia wasn't defeated in 2022, when arguably the Ukraine military was at its strongest and Russia was at its weakest, and equally the support was probably at its strongest as well from the US, and you know, all of the weapons, all of the money, all of this and all of that, if they couldn't defeat Russia then, are they going to defeat Russia now when the roles are reversed? Ukraine's now at its weakest, Russia's at its strongest, and everybody's run out of weapons apart from Russia. So yeah, it's just, it's always a bigger picture. It's always not what you see. Russian redneck, Ukraine Nazi country, man. Yeah, I mean, you've only got to look at the battalions, haven't you? The latest one was sent to Kursk, wasn't it? Edelweiss Battalion. Do your history. Go and see what that is. No Nazis in Ukraine, though. Yeah, right. Where are you from? I'm from the UK. Hello. I do hear you, and I will read every comment. So just be patient, guys. I will read every comment. Unless it's just abusive or a load of, you know, somebody just talking rubbish, and I can't be bothered, but I will read every comment. If I don't read your comment out and it's a sensible comment, it's because it's not shown on my screen. Damn, Russian trees are tough. Mate, it's just insane here. I mean, I chopped down a walnut tree, and I mean savaged it. And over the course of last summer, I butchered it before the summer, and over the course of last summer, it grew 12 feet. 12 feet. And I am not lying, I'm not joking. I reckon if I put a deck chair in the garden, I could have watched it grow. It's absolutely insane how things grow here. It really is absolutely insane. Never ever come across it ever in my life. Nice house. Thank you, James. It is a nice house. We spent a lot of time designing it to meet our needs. Added so much to it, changed everything, and now we're selling it. Genius. Sailor, have you considered moving to Sochi area? The combination of mountains and sea is magical. No, I don't like the climate too much, if I'm honest. It's sort of subtropical, so in the summer it's a bit sticky for me. A lot of people are fine with it, but for me it's just a little bit sticky. I prefer it a bit drier. So an apple for us is perfect. And equally, I think somewhere like Sochi is a lovely place to visit. It's a bit like London. It's a great place to go and visit. Would you necessarily want to live there? I know Londoners go, yeah, it's brilliant. Me personally, no. I'm not a big city guy. And I thoroughly enjoyed Sochi. I really did. It was beautiful. The boardwalk there along the beach is amazing. There's so many restaurants and shops. Real buzz about the place. The marina is wonderful. The centre of the town is wonderful. Yeah, I can't, you know, I can't fault it. I loved Sochi, I really did. and Adler next door. And obviously, you know, you're an hour, less than an hour, 45 minutes, and you're into the mountains to go skiing. And apparently the ski season in Adler is until May. So, yeah, perhaps if I was younger, you know, 15 years younger, then maybe. But no, I'm happy with the climate. And it took me 5 hours to get back from Sochi. So it's not the end of the world if we want to go there again. Alexander, garden's looking great. Nice work. Thanks for showing us that. Can't believe how fast everything is coming on so early in spring. Oh, it's not really even started yet, is it? It's literally this week where the weather has changed around. And yeah, people are out in the gardens and getting ready. You know, it's March's traditional Russians out in garden getting everything ready for growing. But yeah, I'll be happy when I got the fence done. It'll look completely different in the back garden then. But you know, like I say, as I keep saying, it's kind of bittersweet. You know, I'm pleased that we've got the land. I'm pleased that I can make all these changes. I'm pleased that I can make it look pretty. But I'm doing it for somebody else's benefit because we're selling. So yeah. James, rich soil. It is. Absolutely is. Fish boy, yep, same to you. Marcin, ooh, and English. Speaking about Russians, hear them out. You were scared of both the Germans and the Russians. Was I? I was scared of both the Germans and the Russians. Okay. My dad lived in Germany and I live in Russia, so no. I'm guessing, Marcin, that you're from Poland, maybe? Traditional place, isn't it, to start the Russophobia. Oh, Marcin again. Oh, when Poland was invaded, you waited a long time trying to do a deal with Hitler. You scamming. Oh, yeah. Well, Marcin, I didn't. I wasn't actually born, and so good luck with that, mate. Not a single country in Europe respects the cowardly Brits. Great. And true Brits aren't cowards. There's some tough boys in Britain. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll just get rid of you because you're just of no value. You bring nothing to the table. Bye-bye. Yeah, so that's how usually... I don't like doing that, just deleting Muppets. I'd rather just pull them to bits. But it depends what mood I'm in. But equally, I don't want to give a platform to idiots. Why should I? Go and create your own channel. If you want to talk an absolute load of shit, go and create your own channel. Of course they won't. They just run around all the channels doing exactly what he just did. For what? Bye. Gone. How's it going, Chris? Nice to see you on the stream, mate. Thank you, Zeddy. What do you think Russia will make of the ceasefire offer? Fuck all. It's all smoke and mirrors, mate. It's, you know, as I said at the start of this stream, it's not legitimate. It's complete, just conniving smoke and mirrors. It is all so Trump can look good. Look at President Trump. He's managed to agree a ceasefire. Zelensky can look good. Oh, yeah, we've agreed to a ceasefire, but naughty Russia won't. And Russia look bad. Russia bad. That's all it's about. Reality is, it's never, ever, ever going to happen. Russia has said for months, no ceasefire, because the last two ceasefires have been violated and it hasn't served Russia in any way, shape or form. So what's the point? So they've said that for months. And Zelensky has already said that if the 30-day ceasefire comes in, he'll continue to mobilise and restock. So, you know, doesn't sound like they want a lasting peace, does it? It's just all bullshit. Take no notice of it. The Brits, I think, the British media is claiming it as a wonderful idea by the Brits, when Zelensky has already said that it was a US idea. But like I say, it is all smoke and mirrors. Take no notice. Are you moving to a bigger house or to a house in a better better place. So what we are planning to do, God willing, is go to a single story house. So yeah, what we call a bungalow in the UK, but yeah, single story. Neither of us are getting any younger. Yeah, so just want to go to single story, don't want the stairs. It's a shame because we spent a lot of time getting this house exactly how we wanted it, and now we've got it exactly how we want it, we're going to move. But you know, it's the right thing. If we don't do it now, we're going to do it in a couple of years time, so what's the point? We might as well do it now. Chris Cox, did you see Lavrov's interview with the American bloggers? It was great. No, I didn't. I think didn't he get interviewed by Judge Andrew Napolitano and can't remember who else. I haven't seen the interview, but I mean, Lavrov, yeah, I mean, you know, who could sit in a room with that guy? Very, very few people in the world could meet him on the same intellectual level. He's amazing. He's legendary, isn't he? What is your favourite planet? Well, as I've only visited one, I've got to say this one, haven't I, really? Paul David, Anapa, yes, A-N-A-P-A, you're right. Coast of the Black Sea, about 60 miles from Crimea. Zeddy, that makes a lot of sense to me, mate. Thank you. Yeah, it's, like I say, it's just all smoke and mirrors. And I'm sure over the next couple of days you'll see various comments come from Russia basically going, yeah, jog on, it's a load of nonsense. That's what I think will happen. Paul, rent and move around, bud. No, we don't want to. We love the area, so there's no point in moving around, if I'm honest. We're in amongst the vineyards. We've got the beach 15 minutes down the road if we want to go there. The weather's fantastic, the people are wonderful, the food's great. What's the point in moving about? And also renting really is not as easy to find good rental properties because most people don't bother renting, and an awful lot of people don't bother buying a property to rent because the actual return on investment is 25 to 30 years just to get your money back, and that's assuming no breakdowns, you know, that it's always got people in it, they're always paying on time, all of that kind of stuff. So really buying a property to rent out is not really viable in Russia because rent is cheap. So yeah, it's. Oh, we're back. Are we back? Yeah, we're back. Sorry about that. I think electricity may have come back. Dear. Let me know if you can hear me or see me. Thumbs up, kind word, anything at all. I think the stream has just died. Flux, hi. Sailor, would you consider yourself, I'm back, oh perfect, would you consider yourself a middle class in Russia? Where do you fit on that scale? God, Sailor, I honestly don't know. I mean, I don't put myself into any kind of class, I'm just me, but I understand the point you're trying to make from an economic